Hello and welcome back to another video. As you can see behind me here is the Argentavis Drone factory. Haven't seen this spawn in the game in a long time, so I don't know if it was removed or I'm not playing the game as much as I should, but haven't seen a spawn in ages. But yeah, it was a nice little ship back in the day. It would actively hunt anyone, it's the closest player to it, and move slowly towards you while spawning in little attack drones that would come and try their best to kill you, and 9 times out of 10 they would. We'll jump over here and we'll have a look and we'll see what it is like. We'll start here at the front. As you can see here, we have the open glass bridge on the front of it, which I'm not a huge fan of, but again, this ship is dating back to about 2015, so it was early on in the game's development, so wasn't many blocks. Right, we come around to the side here, and you have these large, we basically wrap around wings that I can only describe as protection for the drone printing facility underneath. That's not actually a drone printing facility, it's just made to look like it is. They have to protect the drones when they're being welded up. It's a decent sized ship, plenty of armament on it. There's like there's five Gatling guns and a rocket launcher on it. On the outside, on the inside there's some interior turrets, but we'll get to them when we move inside the ship. It has decent thrust, left, right, up, down and forwards, but I mean it's lacking severely in reverse thrust. I suppose the ship wants to go, doesn't need to stop because it's going to be sending drones after you. Now, it was a pretty easy ship to catch back in the day as well, because the best way to come at it was actually from behind. Because if you line yourself directly up with the center at the back there, none of the turrets can hit you. So as I say, I'm flying towards you here, and there's no turrets in view of me here. So you can come around to the side here and enter the side door. But the only problem here is when you come in here, there's a little airlock. You open this door and it's the center of the ship. There's a couple of turrets in the ship now, so when you turn right here and you go into the medical area, you have your medical room and your 2 cryo chambers and your turret right there. Now, this ship was added into the game in around the time that jump drives came into the game, and at the time, if I'm not mistaken, again, if I am, correct me in the comments, this was the only ship available that spawned in that actually had a jump drive, which made it a prize target to go after early. Well, no, when I say early game, yeah, early game, like before you had the resources to build a jump drive. So you would be going after this just purely for the jump drive that was on it. So we come in here and we go to the center of the ship, and you see there's catwalks everywhere. So, and then you have the large reactor here, which was also another good reason to capture the ship. There's plenty of resources on it, like well, if you didn't want to keep the ship and you wanted to salvage it to continue building whatever you were building when you come across the ship, you would have had plenty of reactor components from the large reactor to put onto your own ship. But as you can see, it's a big enough ship, but the interior is fairly empty. Like, you know, there's loads of catwalks and all around the place. So again, for salvage purposes, with the catwalks you have, I'm going to turn on the hood here and we'll see. You've plenty of small steel tubes, and the small steel tubes, early game, are great for making conveyor tubes. So you have a large reactor here as well, and the other good thing about this ship is there's 2 assemblers on it. Now, and you also have not yield modules there. You have 2 power efficiency modules on the underneath them, and you have 2 speed modules on the top of them. So you have the two assemblers that both have 2 modules each on them. Yeah, so that was another good reason to capture the ship. Like if you capture the ship early game, you're set with all the things, and you could rip out some stuff at the back here, and you could probably fit refineries in here as well. Like, you know, in at the side here, you take away catwalk on one side, and you could fit refineries in here. So before we go to the bridge, we'll stay in the rear of the ship here, and we come up here and through this door here, and this was basically our early attempt at living quarters. So if you have 2 catwalks on that side representing beds, and you have 2 seats in here and an air vent, and that's literally all that's in this room. So pretty bare, like I said. Now, plenty of gyroscopes, so there was plenty you could do with this ship. So we'll head up here, and as you can see, with the 2 more interior turrets and the big airtight hangar doors here. So we'll open these up, and this leads us into the bridge. Again, bridge, pretty empty bridges on these ships. Again, back in the day there wasn't much decorative blocks to put in the ships. So you have 4 control stations here, 2 programmable blocks and a flight seat, and that's all they had in this. But again, the one thing about this bridge that I like in the last ship was it's not a claustrophobic bridge. So I mean, there's plenty of space in it. Right, so we'll head outside now, and we'll take another fly around the outside of the ship. That's the wrong way. So we'll jump downstairs now, and we'll head outside, and we'll give outside another once over before we head over to have a look at well, actually, yeah. So down here, this is the drone that the ship would spawn in, and it would spawn in a few of these drones that would come after you. As you can see, this drone is fairly lightly armed. It's literally just has a Gatling turret on it, and that's it. There's nothing else on it. But when you have about 4 or 5 of these flying after you and shooting you, and especially if it's early game and you haven't really put weapons on your ship, they can do a little bit of damage and cause you to spawn a good few times. Like, you have plenty of welders on the ship as well. Like this ship has 6 welders as well, so it's a resource heavy ship is what I'm trying to say. Jeez. Right, so that's this ship. So we're going to fly over now, and we're going to have a look at what I've done. As you can see on the rear of the ship here as well, you've plenty of large thrusters as well. So like I said, it's a resource heavy ship. If you don't want to capture it, you just want to salvage it, you have a lot of resources. Like with the amount of with the amount of thrusters on this, you should be able to salvage enough gold to possibly build another jump drive. Right, so we'll head over here now and we'll have a look. And as you can see, there's someone over here. So this is, I don't know, anyone who's come here from Quantum Chief's channel, seen him on Quantum Chief's channel with me. Now the reason why I don't know is here is because he's actually good at painting ships, and he's painting the ship for me. So, do you want to say hello? I don't know.
Hello guys.
Now, let everyone know, tell everyone what you're doing before we do the tour of the ship.
Okay, so I'm going through the outside, going around the outside of the ship. I am obviously painting it, trying to match the colours up. Now, the original colours of this ship is very difficult to paint with because for example, this red, if I've only got 2 textures it actually works with. If I change it to any other texture, so for example, let's use
Battered armor.
Yeah, battered armor. If I paint this block here, same color, battered armor, it's completely different. Now the reason behind that is the when you're painting, it's the V value. And if I turn up the V value, battered armor doesn't like it.
Yeah, so basically battered armor is basically the standard armour, but with all the paint more or less worn off and the textures worn off, so because of that you can't really see the colours well in it, which is unfortunate because battered armour is my favourite skin, and as regular viewers know, we tend to change a lot of the ships to battered armour. But I don't know if you'd agree with me on this one. The problem with this as well is the colours that's on this aren't default colours, they're custom colours, which means the V value has been changed, and that's what's causing it. So if these were all default colours, battered armour would work, but because they're not, I reckon that's what's causing the problem. Would you agree?
I would agree, yeah. It's difficult.
Right, well, while Simon is painting here, you can keep talking while I'm doing this anyway. So while Simon's painting this here, we'll go around the outside of the ship. And the first things first, as you can see here, we've changed the bridge. So what I've done with the bridge here is I've actually made the bridge longer, and there's a reason for that. We'll get to that when we go on the inside. So you can see, as I'm going around here now, you can see the top half is the bay windows, which are my favourite window in the entire game. They just make everything look, what's the word I can use? Spacious. Like, would you agree with me there, Simon? Spacious? That'd be a right way to use it with the bay windows because of the shape of them.
Yeah, it makes it a lot more spacious, and that enhances the feel of the ship. Yeah.
And then below this we have the bridge windows, which again, I love these windows as well. And I just tried it out to see what it would look like, and it actually, the two windows actually do work well together because the lines here flow straight down on the sides here, so they work well together. Right, so I've done away with the glass on the bottom of the bridge because there's really no need for the glass on the bottom of the bridge, because you would only really put glass on the bottom of a bridge if it's a ship that's, well, in my opinion, again, like, I mean, opinions are like stinky buttholes, everyone has one, but in my opinion, like, the only reason you put glass on the bottom of the bridge underneath here is if you're entering an atmosphere and you need to see the ground from your cockpit. Again, my opinion, I could be wrong, but that's the way I look at it. So I decided to armour up the bottom of the bridge. Well, when I say armour, there is no heavy armour on this ship at all, it's all light armour. Right, so I've changed all the thrusters out to the warfare thrusters. They're probably my favourite thruster out of all the thrusters there. Them and the Sparks of the Future are my favourite thrusters. I know we've only got 3 thrusters to work from, but 9 times out of 10 I'll go with the warfare over the Sparks of the Future, depending on the build. So underneath here I've taken away the 5 black antenna and I've put in the antenna dish. And the reason why I don't normally put this on ships, it's normally something you put on a station, but because of the size of the ship, it actually suits the aesthetics. I tried the parabolic antenna, but it was too small, it didn't look right, so I went with the dish because it really does suit the ship. And you know, you have to look at it from a lore point of view of the ship. So I don't know, a lot of ships don't have lore, but if this is a ship that's actively scanning for players to attack, I mean, the large dish makes sense for that, in my opinion. As you can see here, flanking either side of the dish, I put in the truss pillars along with some decoys. Just, it looked a little bit bare either side of the dish, so I just add them in there just for some detail. Well, detail, and the fact that they're decoys, they will be functioning, so they will draw fire from turrets that are attacking the ship. Right, so before we go underneath here into the drone area, we'll come around to the side here and we'll have a look at the wraparound wing protection. And as you can see there, I've replaced some of the blocks with the beam blocks. By far my favourite my favourite block in the game. And the reason why I've done that is because in between the beam blocks there, in behind them, you can see red flashing lights. So there is lights, inset lights, set every so often in behind these beam blocks here, just flashing red. So You can't really see here because of the planet in the background, but if the planet wasn't there you would be able to see that a lot clearer. Maybe Simon will remove the planet there and we'll have a look and see.
Okay, bear with me.
But yeah, so while Simon's doing that, we'll come up here. There you go. There's the planet now. So you can see you can actually see the lights there a little bit clearer now with the planet gone. I'm going to turn off my lights, and if you look underneath there, you can see them flashing. Right. So I've changed out a lot of the weaponry on the ship. Now all the Gatling turrets I've changed to the new Mark II Gatlings because I really like them. I think they're a nice turret. Right, so what I've done is on the top of the original ship we had a Gatling gun and a rocket launcher, and then you had 2 Gatling guns on either side of the ship there just behind the bridge, and you have 2 Gatling guns, Gatling turrets on the rear of the ship basically underneath the entrance base. So what I've done is I've again, any Gatling guns that was on the ship I've replaced to the Mark II Gatling guns. I've done away with the rocket launcher because rocket launchers are useless. Like I said, if you, like I said before, previous videos, if you have your Gatling guns set to shoot rockets, turrets are virtually useless. The only thing they're good for is drawing fire, which is why when I have my warships I tend to set not all my turrets, but some of my turrets on the ship will be set to shoot rockets. So I've taken away the rocket turret and I put an artillery gun on the top of the ship. So you have a heavy hitter up there, and on the side there behind the bridge I've replaced that with 2 of the assault cannons. And I've added an extra Gatling gun on the top here because, like I said, when you're coming from the rear of the ship there's a blind spot which makes it easy to capture. So when I tend to refit these ships I tend to make them a little bit harder to capture. So if you're coming from the rear of the ship, which I'll show you now because I've actually changed the rear of the ship, you now have a Gatling gun up here. But what I've also done is, if you actually see the engine pack there and the back of that, I've actually flipped it sideways, and by doing that actually exposes the 2 Gatling guns on the bottom there as well. So now coming from the rear of the ship you have 3 Gatling guns facing you, until you get real close. When you get to here you've only got 2 on the bottom, but you still have 1. So it doesn't matter where you go coming from at the ship now from the rear, you're going to get shot at by Gatling guns. So just by rotating this engine pack 90 degrees actually makes the back of the ship, 1, actually looks nicer, and 2, makes it harder to capture the ship now because all 3 turrets there can now guard the rear of the ship. So if you come to the engines right here, oh yeah, another thing I've done here as well was I've done away with the standard armor blocks here that was just covered in all through here. I'll fly back over and show you. I should have done that a minute ago. But basically this part of the ship is now down here, so as you can see that's all solid armor there. So I've done away with that. Like I always do when there's an engine pod on a ship, I like to make them look like they're clamped on, and that's where the beam blocks come in, because the beam blocks look like it's clamping the engine pods on. So this is all hollow here now, and underneath here I've actually added in some of the heat vents, so when the ship is thrusting forward these heat vents will open up. Right, so what I've done here now, because I flipped everything on its side as well, I took away, see, as you can see, full blocks here on the side. Well, these full blocks were also on the top of the engine pod, which used to be the side but is now the top. So I've changed all that to the half blocks, just to slim things out a bit, so they're not looking like big beach balls stuck on the side on the rear of the ship. So just evens things out a little bit. And I've changed the rear beacon that has the Argentavis on it to the round beacon. Right, so we come over here to the side here, as you can see there's the porthole windows there, and right here is where the sideways thrusters used to be. But so when I flipped the engine pods on the back on the side, the up down thrusters then became the left right thrusters. So I removed the 2 large thrusters that were here, and instead of having large thrusters facing down and facing up, I replaced them with small thrusters, because this ship doesn't need to be very maneuverable like when it's going up or down. So, like I said, eight standard thrusters, 8 small ion thrusters makes up one large ion thruster. So there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you've just over 1.5 large thrusters, basically facing up with all the ions, and it's the same on the bottom. So all these small ion thrusters on the bottom here is basically giving the same power as 2 large ion thrusters. So right, we'll have a look at the wings covering here, and what I've done is everything looked very flat underneath here. So because it's called an Argentavis, and anyone who's played Ark Survival Evolved knows that an Argentavis is basically a giant eagle that's the size of a minibus. Well, in reality, an Argentavis wasn't an eagle; it was more of a vulture. It was a border prey, but it looked more like a giant vulture that was the size of a minibus. So I decided, instead of having a flat here, I just made it jagged to sort of emulate the tips of a wing of a bird there with the feathers and all that. And I've taken away I will come onto the side where the sun is so you can see. So I've taken away the flatness that you see here on the top of the ship. Used to carry on down the wings. So I ridged all the wings again to give it the look of a bird's wing, basically. And we come over here now to the side here, and you see I've added pipe work here, and I've added the angle walls in there, just for detail, just to take the flat look off the side of the ship. Now, this ridging that's on the top here, I have actually continued this ridging on down the side of the ship again, just for detail and to take away the flat look off the side of the ship. I don't know, I like what you're doing there with the paint work, it looks well.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Right, so we come to one of the entrances, and again I have these angled interior walls on either side with pipe work, and I've added in one other side interior turrets just above the doorway for added protection coming into the ship. Again, I mean, you don't even make these ships too easy to capture. I'll turn my light on while we're coming in here because it's a little bit dark in here. Now, all the lighting in the ship will be sorted out before it goes up onto the workshop and before it goes into the mod. Right, so I don't know, decided to leave all the doors open, so we'll close these. Right, so you come into this airlock here. As you can see, the whole ship is pressurized. So we have, on either side of the ship, there is a armory, and we open this to come in and close that. I don't know, left all the doors open. Right, so we come in here and we have a look. Right, so when you come in, if you turn left, this is the medical bay. So we've changed things around here. It still has its turret in it. I've changed to the new corner medical bay, and I've changed to the inset cryo chambers on the left hand side here. But the floor was a little bit empty, so we added in the lab equipment and the medical station. That just purely decoration. And I've changed the door out to the offset door. Now, the paint scheme of the ship, you know what I mean, decided to do a lot of rust on the inside of the ship, because it doesn't make sense having rust on the outside of a ship. A lot of rust on the outside of the ship because it's in space, and you know, I mean, you wouldn't have moisture in space to cause it to rust, but on the inside of the ship you would. So we come in here. Now we've changed out all the ramps to the grated stairs. And I've changed the large reactor to the industrial reactor. It's a nicer looking reactor, it looks better. So we come up here, and these are thermal blocks that aren't set up yet, but they will be set up to turn on and off the antennas and whatnot. So we come down here, and this is where the 2 sideways thrusters were. So there would have been blocks here, and the thrusters then were on the far side of the blocks. So on this side I've put in armories and a weapons rack, because it is a pirate ship, so it is going to be having scrupulous individuals on it, would you say? So, I don't know, yeah. So there'll be plenty of armament on the ship.
Oh yes.
Right, so we're coming up here again. taken away the ramps and we put in the graded stairs. And on either side of the stairs here, you have O2 generators. Now, it's not a hydrogen ship, so these are purely for filling the oxygen tanks. So up here now is the sleeping quarters, which I've changed out to sleeping quarters / recreation area / mess hall area with a shower and a toilet. So with these new inset blocks that came into the game, you can make your living areas look so much better, yet maintain the same amount of space in the ship, because you're replacing the armor blocks with the inset blocks, and it just makes everything look lived in, and it just makes the ship look the way, what am I trying to say, something
Hospitable.
That's good. Yeah, so it just makes the ship look more hospitable. Thank you, I don't know. But so we'll come back out here and we'll come down, and as you can see, all the catwalks have been changed to what looks like the graded catwalks, but they're actually not. What these are the walkable scaffold blocks upside down, and I've put the rails on top of them, and by doing that you can have the catwalk white or whatever colour you like, but the rails a different colour. So all the rails, again, because it's the inside of the ship, are rusted over, so all the handrails have rust on them. So we come down here, there's all your gyroscopes, and yeah, so we've changed out the large cargo container to the industrial cargo container. So I actually have got a good few blocks from the industrial pack on this build. Right, so we carry on down towards the bridge, and as you can see here, I've changed out the 2 assemblers to the 2 in industrial assemblers, and now there's all speed modules on these, but what I'm actually going to do, I'm actually going to change it out. I'm going to change 2 of the speed modules in each one to power efficiency modules, just to give that variation like what's on the original ship. But what I love about these industrial assemblers is you can walk through them. Yeah, but I love the way you can walk through these assemblers, and you can access the assembler here through the little shutter on the inside of it here. So it's just a great detail they added into them. It's the same with the industrial refineries. Right, so we come down here. So as you can see here, we have the large gate. I've taken away the airtight hangar doors, and we still have our 2 turrets here facing down the catwalks. Right, so we'll open the gates, and here's the new bridge. Now, right, so on the left hand side here we have the inset button panels in the walls here with the seats in front of them. We have that on both sides of the bridge. The bridge is basically mirrored. And I've changed out the original programmable blocks to the automation programmable blocks. Now, there will be a script on this ship for closing all the doors. As usual, we'll have the airlock script on, and everybody that watches the video, don't forget to thank Krator in the comment section below for keeping the mod up to date, and for putting the airlock script on all the ships and renaming it, because again, I'm a lazy shy. I don't know, I'll tell you that. So I name nothing, I just put things on the ships, and poor Krator, before he loads them onto the mod, has to go through everything and rename everything and put the scripts on and do everything. So if you want, say thank you to him down in the comment section below, or give him a big thank you if you're downloading the mod from the Steam from the workshop. Right, so we come in here and anyway, and here, I'll stop rabbiting at me for a sec. And we changed the bridge layout. Well, when I say change, it's more or less the same layout, but I've changed the blocks from the standard blocks to the graded catwalks and the graded stairs. But what I've done here, because I'm not like Engineered Coffee and Quantum Chief, they're engineers in real life. But what I am is I'm a construction worker in real life, and I don't know, what are you? I don't know, electrician / mechanic / what?
Oh no.
So So sorry, what were you saying, sorry? Or,
I'm a WAV installer. There you go.
a
For
what?
vehicles. A WAV installer for vehicles.
What's WAV?
Wheelchair accessible vehicle.
Jesus, fucking acronyms. Right, but anyway, yeah. So because I work in construction, and as anyone who watches my videos and watches Engineered Coffee or watches Quantum Chief knows that both of them are engineers as well. So they tend to build from the mindset of an engineer for things to look structural. Well, I'm the same because I'm a construction worker. So I didn't want to just have the catwalks out there with this floating and having nothing supporting it. So we have the what are these called again? The scaffold block slopes I have on either side to give the illusion of this is what's holding this catwalk up, and it works well. I think it looks nice. Right, so we have our pilot seat up here, and then we have basically engineering and security on the left hand side, left and right of it. I really would love keen to make these console module blocks like functional. I think I don't know who agrees with me there. Would you agree?
I concur.
Right, so if we come underneath here, underneath the catwalk, we have the captain's desk, and we have more of these console blocks and a button panel up here. Now, this button panel again is not set up, but we'll figure out something to set it up for it to do on the ship. Like probably turn on off the bridge lights, or you could probably set it to turn on and off the welders down below or something like that, you know. Again, if you add a projector onto the ship for welding up down there in the welding area, you could probably add the projector onto this button here to turn on and off. Right, so that's basically the inside of the ship done. We'll head outside and we will take a look at the drone that's going to be spawning. Because what I've also done, wrong door. So what I've also done with this ship is I've redone the drone that was over there. Rather than redo it, I done my own drone. So there's two versions here, and for the reason for that is because I don't always paint them up. So we'll have a look at the painted version because it looks nicer. Right, so as you can see, it's a fairly hefty looking drone. Again, it's all light armor. I don't want to make it too easy to capture the ship, but I also don't want to make it too hard. So that's why the ship has been kept in light armor rather than heavy armor. And it's the same with the drones. I want the drones to be tough, but not too difficult to defeat, if you know what I mean. So it's all light armor. Right, so this drone has two railguns on the front, and the reason why I've done that is because of the with the contact update, and you have the Factorum, and their drones have all railguns on them, and they can be nasty little beggars. So I decided to, make my own little nasty little beggar of a drone. So this one has two railguns and two, what are they called again? Autocannons, is it? Yeah, two autocannons on it. And it has two Gatling guns. And again, I kept everything with the updated weapons. So this has the Mark II Gatling turrets on top, which I think in the small grid look fantastic. I think they look much nicer on the small grid than they do on the large grid, down in all fairness. Would you agree? I don't know there, yeah?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, they're like little miniature rail guns, aren't they, or something like that. They're just the shape of them, but I think they look great. But that's that. Right, so underneath here in the drone production part of the ship, would you say? Yeah, you can see, as you can see here, I left the two yield modules exposed. Or not yield modules, speed modules. Are they speed or yield? Speed, yeah. I left the two speed modules exposed underneath the ship, just for a little bit of detail down here. But as you seen when I was over there flying around, it's fairly dark underneath this ship. So with the new angled floodlights, the angled floodlights, isn't he? Yeah, the angled floodlights, we've put them in all angled, facing towards the centre of the ship where the drone facility is, just to light this area up a little bit better. So, are you finished painting there, I don't know?
Just realised that we should put some hatches on there because you forgot to put them on there, just to make it look a little bit nicer.
On where?
On the bottom of the wilders.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. My mistake, your fault. Right.
Yeah.
What?
I'm pretty much finished painting, although I saw something nice with the dish that I'll show you later on.
Do you want to show us now while we're here?
I can do. It's probably just a thing, but here we go. So here's the dish.
Yeah.
I thought, ignoring the colour scheme.
What is that?
That's the neon.
Oh, that looks nice.
That does look nice. The only thing is when you fly away from it, it loses its detail.
But that's okay. I could live with that.
And it's more of a matte finish rather than a...
Change that to the black one. That's actually on the ship.
Okay. I will...
You're getting to see the process in action as we're doing it here, people. Well, that's if anyone has stayed on the video long enough to get to this point. If you have, leave a comment down below and let us know what you think of the neon on the satellite dish. What's it called again?
It is
antenna
neon.
dish. The antenna dish. Yeah, the neon texture pack on the antenna dish. So if you've gotten this far, throw a comment down in the comment section below. By the way, before we go, just let everyone know. Myself and you.There are going to be doing a survival series, and you.There is going to be posting videos on his own channel, which hasn't been set up yet, but will be getting set up. So as soon as that's done and we start making the survival series, I'll be putting a link to you.There's channel in the description of all the videos for the survival series. So if you wouldn't mind, when that happens, head over and give you.There an L subscribe and a thumbs up and a comment. So see us all I won't see us all next week. I will see us all during the week because this video is late going up. So hopefully when Space Engineers 2 gets released tomorrow, I'm recording this on Sunday, so it'll be getting released on Monday the 27th. Hopefully they'll also release the new pack that's coming for Space Engineers 1. And if they do, I'll be doing a video on that for during the week. Right, so that's the video for today. Thank you for watching. If you like what you're seeing, give the video a thumbs up. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. And if you have something to say, just comment down below. Say goodbye, you.There.
See ya.
So thanks very much for watching. I'll talk to you all during the week. Goodbye.